Nothing is so privileged as believing history belongs to the past. That is a direct quote from John Green's new book, Everything is Tuberculosis. And I must say, it fully encompasses what this book is trying to do and explain to the reader. I finished this book about 2 weeks ago, and I've been sitting with it. I took a lot of tabs on this one just because I thought it was extremely educational, but also I don't think very many people do talking about humanity in such a hopeful way in hopelessness as John Green. And a lot of it felt just beautiful in a way that is hard, because this is a very hard disease to talk about. The history of this disease has given us things like the cowboy hat, like modern beauty standards, things like that, that has an interesting link to. However, at the end of the day, what this book is trying to do is tell you that we have a cure for tuberculosis, and we still refuse to give it to the countries that are most heavily impacted by it. And instead of doing so, we let people suffer. And in doing so, we may lead to more suffering down the road for even more people, because we are letting this disease run rampant when it can be cured. And John Green talks about this in a way where he says that we have let tuberculosis become like a beast upon itself. The failure of tuberculosis lies with us, lies with humans, not with the disease itself, because we have the ability to essentially eradicate it. And instead, we have chosen money over that. And it is a deeply saddening situation to find ourselves in. But what is so amazing about this book is the fact that despite it's not even 200 pages, despite its length, despite how short it is, you can see the conviction and the passion from John Green and other advocates for the people who are most impacted by this disease. And they are not stopping anytime soon, this fight. And I think because of John Green's fame and proliferation within the United States, I hope this brings some much needed attention to the people who are suffering from this, because as I mentioned, this is a disease that is directly linked to human greed. There is no reason at this point that people should be suffering the way they are. And while some systems of the past have helped, we could do so much more to make it better. And this book truly opens people's eyes to that. And I must say, this is a must read. It's not long. I really hope everyone picks it up, because everyone deserves to be educated about things like this. And not only does it talk about the current disease state that we live in when it comes to tuberculosis, but it gives you some background to the disease as well. Like I mentioned, it talks about modern beauty standards and how they were impacted by tuberculosis, fashion that was impacted by tuberculosis, architecture that was impacted by tuberculosis, literature, poetry, all of those things have been deeply impacted by the history of tuberculosis. And so it is a very impactful disease, not just today, but from the past as well. And so thinking about how it's changed over time is extremely important to the context of how we ended up where we ended up. But it does not mean that we have to stop there. It does not mean that we end here. It does not mean that we stop fighting for the people that deserve to be fought for. And it does not mean that people like John Green or me or you can stay silent when people are dying of a disease that is easily curable. Pick this one up, educate yourself, learn about it, come back, and keep the fight up.